So now let me start with Google Fonts. So what I'm going to do here, please can you hear me and can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so installing Google Font into your website, you go to their official website called Google Fonts. Go to the official website called Google Fonts.
So I'm going out to install Google first.
You've learned it.
Yes, sir. I taught us last class.
Okay, I did it last class. Wow. All right, so let's just continue. Oh, okay. So let's work on the header region then. So we are going to create a file here called, still inside this our CSS file. We're going to create a file called header.css so that we know that our header CSS class will be separate. Header.css. So inside your HTML, if you look at the original website, super simple. Please let me know if I'm too fast because me I'm if you look at this original website that we are working on, this website, the header is divided into three sides. We have the left side, the middle side, and we also have the what, the right side. So that's what I'm going to create right now. So I'll go back to my HTML. Where's my HTML work here? I think I have to close this. Yeah, youtube.html. So let me close this. I know that my video grid has been done correctly. Then I'm going to create another pattern here. I'm going to create a container. So this container, I'm going to call it nav. Remember I said they are all container, Abby? I think I've said that to you guys. So this one, I'm going to give it, I'm going to create a container. This will be for the left. This I'll create another one called for the middle. This will be for the middle. Then the last one I'll create, this will be for the right. For the right. So let me do some kind of coloring here so that so I'll give this one a class. I'll give this one a class. The class I'm going to give this one, I'm going to call it left session. Left session. This one I'm going to give it a class of middle session. So why this last one, I'm going to give it a class of right session. Please, I believe I also said there's something called ID, right? ID selector. Please, I need your response today. Oh. There's something called ID selector, isn't it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
There's something called ID selector. I think have I used ID selector? I've not used it much, have you? Let me use ID because when we enter JavaScript, we're looking at all those things. So this third one, let me give it an ID of right session. Right session. Alright, so I have three sections here, the left, the right, and stuff like that. So I'll go to my header.css. I'll begin to do my style for the parent that is carrying all of them, which is this nav. I'm going to give it a class of navbar. So I'm going to give the class of what? Of navbar. So I'll go to my header.css. The first thing I'm going to call, let me call my navbar. So the next one I'm going to call my left session class. Left session. Then the next one, the middle session. So let me just duplicate this. Ash. This is very low. My system. So the left section, middle section, there is last one. You know, this one is going to be ID, so hashtag right, hashtag right section. So I have something like this. Where's my original website? So presently this is what I'm having. So for this left section, I'm going to give it a background color. I'm going to give it a background color of light pink so that we'll see what's going to happen there. So the color will be light pink. So the for the middle section, I'll give it a background color of light blue. The white is other one here, I'll give this one a background color. The background color is just for me to know the section I'm working it with at the particular time. So let's see, give this one light pink. So I have something like this. Left section. Okay, I've not linked this header.css on the HTML, so I'm going to link it. Link header. I think I'm supposed to have access. I have to go into style first, right? Please, are you guys with me? Styles. Crespin. Crespin.
Yeah,
Hope I'm not too fast.
sorry, too fast. I don't know. You want to continue.
Uh, okay, you know what we do? We always drop the code, so you go through the code later. But since I'm explaining, whatever you have a question, call my attention. I don't know if that was okay. Is it okay like that?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so I have to link the header.css. That's why you see the effect I pass on this place. It's now what? It's not activated on it. Okay, so I was supposed to go into practice called practice flex with you guys, but I don't think there will be time for that. So I will just immediately I will implement it here. So while I'm implementing it, I will be explaining the key concepts that flex carry. You know, I did great practice with you guys when I was doing this video here. So this time around, let's just effect our flex, because this header that I seen on this website is actually flex. So you can see that the middle section is flexible. Are you seeing it? As the browser is increasing, that box is also what increasing, it's expanding. So that's what we call flexibility. So that's actually a flex on the game. So what I will do now, inside my HTML, you can see that this input is on the middle, so I'll just copy it out and place it at the middle. So let me get the spaces so that I will be able to have something inside. So presently now is inside my middle section, so you can see it's inside the middle section. Now you notice now, because it's inside a container, everything is in a what is in the form of vertical. They are vertically placed, but I want it to be in the form of column, so that it will be kind of horizontal. So what I will do is I'll go to back to display this nav bar. I will turn the display to be what to be a flex. So flex property by default, you can see it. Flex property by default are display in horizontal. By default, they are displaying horizontal. Okay, so that's all the properties of a flex. So what I will do next, I will increase the height of this my header with the property of what with height. So I'll give it 55 watt pixels. So you can see that it's higher, 55 watt pixels. So the next thing I'm going to do, for me to space this thing, for them to be spaced evenly, I'm going to call my justify content the value that make everything to be spaced out. All right, that will make everything to be spaced out is called space between. Now justify content has space around. It also has what space between, and space evenly, and space over around. So I'm going to give it a value because space between give them the same space between across each other. So if you look at the marks of this browser, you can see I have my right here, I have my middle here, I have my left at this particular point. Okay, at that particular point. So that's actually what I want to achieve. Then the next thing I'm going to actually look at, I want this particular middle section to take the remaining space. All right. The property for grid we said is called f arrow, which is called free space, if you remember. So for a flex, the property is called flex, and the value you pass one there. For example, now this is the middle section. I'll call my property of flex, then I'll pass one. If I pass one here, what are you observing? If I maximize this browser, you see that this middle section is taking the remaining space, just like you have for one f arrow in grid. But in terms of flex, they call it what? The property is called flex, and the value is what? The whatever length you want to give it. So we have one, we have two, we have three. So in the f arrow, two f arrow is bigger than one f arrow, three f arrow is bigger than what? Is bigger than two f arrow. For a flex, two f arrows, two is bigger than one, three is bigger than two, just like that. But ensure that the property you are giving it is what? Is flex. You can see what I did here. I give it a property of flex, then I passed one there. That's why it increased. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to increase the size of my left. I'll just give it a setting width. I'm going to give it a width of 200 pixels, so it will be increased. Then this part here, I'm also going to give it a setting width. I'm going to give it a width of 200 pixels, so that it will also increase. You can see, but my middle section is still flexible. Okay, so this is what we mean by flexibility. If I increase the browser, you see that the middle section is increasing. If I reduce it, the middle section does reduce. Please, are we good? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you can see that the content I have on this particular container, they are displayed on top. But if you look at their own original, this hamburger button, the YouTube icons, and every content they have there is actually placed at the middle of the container. So how do I achieve that in when I'm looking at uh, a header? So what I will do for you guys to see what I'm doing right now, I'm going to set some things here. I will remove this is not part of our class, but I just wanted to understand some concepts. So I'll give it a border style. I'll set a border style. So I'll set the border style, and I'll make it solid so that you see a solid line around. So you can see that there is a solid line around the header B. So from here to the top is actually the 55 pixels that we have called there. Now, since this particular container is a flex, it means that what is inside, I can move them around. I can actually move them around. So I can move them at the bottom, I can move them at the center, I can move them at the top. So what I'll do, the way to do that is called align what? You align your items. That's the properties that CSS call it. You align items. Then either you make it, if I make it center, what do you observe? The items are positioned at the what? At the center. So if I leave it at center, that's how they did others. But if I put it as start is at default, to be at the default location, which is at the top. But if I want it to appear at the bottom, the value is going to be what? End. So you can see that everything is placed at the what? At the bottom. Okay, that's the value that go for what? For align items, for a grid, for a flex what? For a flex what display. So I said that by default their own is what? At the center. So I will leave it at the what? At the center, because we want to place other things inside. Is that okay? So I'm going to remove this border style from it so that there will not be border around it. So we now know that we are working with our original. We are working with our original. Now I haven't understand this particular concept. So the next thing for me to do is for me to load what is inside that particular container, this original. The hamburger, this is what they call hamburger button, and this is the YouTube. Anytime you are seeing this hamburger, this is a YouTube icon. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to download this icon. So I'll right click on the icon, I'll click on save images. So I want to have the icon on my system, so I'll click on save images. So I'm going to create a new folder inside my image directory. Please learn how to structure your file. So I'm going to create a new, right click on the environment. I'm going to click create an icon, so I'll call it I'm going to call it icons. So icons will go inside this particular place. So hamburger, I'll save it. You can see that that hamburger is SVG. So let me quickly also save this one. Right click, then save it also. So I don't need to save again. You can see this SVG. SVG simply means scalable vector words graphics, and these are graphics that are resizable. It means that they don't get blur. They are not in pixels, and there's you can also create SVG using your HTML and CSS. Alright, you can create your SVG, just get your line. These are elements you use to achieve it. But by and large, if you don't want to spend that time creating SVG on your own, you can go to icon 8. Alright, icon 8. You can browse it on your browser. Icon 8, you see SVG that you can easily download and make use of. But if you don't want to make use of SVG, you can also use PNG, because PNG means your portable network word graphics. And the effect of PNG, it take the whatever background you put, it is transparent. All right, it's transparent. If I put in a white background, it will take the white background effect, so it's also good for you to use it. Is because SVG is actually is paid for. Most of those SVG you see, you can get SVG from icon 8. You can also get the SVG in font awesome. You get SVG from font awesome also. So please, I'm trying to download all the icons I have up here, so that it will not give me issue when I want to use them. Hello, are we together?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right, good. So I've actually downloaded all the picture that I'm working on. I hope this thing is still as well. Oh. So I'll bring the picture into this my environment here. So I'm going to remove this left section. I want to bring. So if you want to bring image into your environment, the element is called img, and the img is having an attribute called sroc and alternate. Alternate is simply what you want to display if the image is not loaded. That means the name of the image. Okay, that's what you pass for alternate. Why the sroc is linking the image from the source, from where you put them from. For example, now you know that this particular icon is inside what icons. I think we have explained that. So I have to go into images first. The next thing I have to go inside what icons. Then the next thing I need to look for what the hamburger menu, which is this guy here. So what I will do for this guy, I will give it a class. I'm going to give it a class of hamburger, so that I'll be able to do one or two in my styling. So the next icon that I will bring in here now is the YouTube logo icon. So I also going to pass it inside the img. So I'm going to go into images, I'm going to go into icons, then I'm going to go into what the YouTube logo. I think this is the YouTube logo here. So for the class, we also give it a class of a YouTube logo, so that we're able to what we're able to style it. So presently now, you will notice that it is there, but it's very large. So I have two classes that I want to style: hamburger menu and YouTube logo. So let me copy it. So let me bring it under the left section, so that you understand what we are doing here. So this one, the other one is the YouTube logo. YouTube logo. So for this guy to appear, since it's SVG, I'm going to give it height, because it's too big. That's why you are not seeing it very well. I'm going to give it height of 24 pixels. So you can see it's not showing very well. This other one that is big like this, I'll also give it a height of 24 watts pixels. 24 watt pixels. So you can see it is placed side by side. It is placed side by side. Now, since my icons are placed side by side, let me remove the background color from here so that we'll see what's going on. Now what I'm going to do next is this. You can see presently now this one is too close to this other one here. I'm going to space them. How do I space them? I will use the concept of margin. I will call the margin left and margin right inside the hamburger menu logo. So I'll call margin left. Sorry. Margin left. What kind of margin left should I give these items now? Please, I hope you know that margin left is space on the left of the word of the items, while margin right is the space on the right of the words of the items. I hope no questions so far, class. Please, any questions so far?
Yes, sir.
Fola, any question?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Shaheen, any question? Shaheen, any question? He's not there. Shaheen, any question?
No, no.
Tosin, any question? Tosi, any question? He's not there. Promise, any question?
No for now.
All right, thank you very much. Let's continue. So I'm going to give it margin left. I'm going to give it 24 pixels so that there will be a space on the left side. So there's a space there. You can see it's breaking down. So I'm going to also give it a margin right, a space at the right side of it. I'm going to also give it 24 watts pixels. So let's see what's going on. But when I maximize this now, I think it's okay. It's okay. But we notice that it goes down when it's like this. When it's like this, it's going down, and it is. And I gave it. I gave it a. I gave it a height. I think I gave it a width. The width of my left section is 200 pixels. So what I will do, I will turn this guy to a flex, so that it won't give that behavior, and even when the screen is small. So I'll give it a display of what, of flex. Are you seeing it? So presently now, this my left section is a flex, so that even when the screen is small, it will still take the original words position. Please, is it okay for is it okay with us? Is it okay with us?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I'm done with the left section. I want to go into the middle section now. So I want to start the middle section. All right, because we want to achieve the header today by God's grace. So that's that about that what's it called, that left section. So let's talk to the middle section. Let's talk to the middle section. Now the middle section, remember I gave it a flex. I gave it a flex of 1, right? Then let's give it let's also give it space. Let's have a space from the left side, a space from the right side also. So on that case, from the left side, I will give you a margin left of 70 pixels because it's too close to the other guy. I'll give it a margin left of 70 watts pixels. Please, I'm always using pixels because pixels is common. Pixel is not only the unit of measurement. For those of us that normally watch YouTube videos, some tutorials they will tell you rem, while some will tell you em. Okay, if you are using rem or em, it's also a unit of measurement. Some tutorial will tell you vw, which is view width, while some will tell you vh, which is view height. It's also a unit of what, of measurement. Okay, while some tutorial will tell you percentage, it's also a unit of what, of measurement. Okay, but what is common and you can easily gauge the measurement, it is called what, pixels. Okay, it's just like the hierarchy, like percentage is higher than pixels. All right, hem is higher than rem. All right, hem is high, his hem is higher than rem. Okay, view width or view height, they are the same thing, just for you are looking at the horizontal and you are looking at the what vertical. So I'm always using what pixels. So the next thing I'm going to pass here is the margin what the margin left, Abby. I've called the margin right. The next thing is the margin right now. So the margin right, I'm going to give it a margin right of 35 what pixels. 35 pixels. Our space at the right side. So if you look at this edge now, there's a space at this particular point. We are also converting this middle section to a display of flex because there are some things I want to bring into it. But before I do that, let's go to the HTML and do one or two. Let's go inside the HTML and do one or two. So in the HTML, let's be looking at this middle section aspect because I want to bring in the contents, the other icons that belongs to that particular middle section. That's what I want to bring in there. So if you look at your middle sections, your middle section, I'm having something like different icons. My search bar is there, my search icon is there, and what do I have there again? I have my voice search what icon is also in there. So I'm going to bring all of this inside here. So remember, I have to use my AMG. So I have to go to images to get what I want to pass here. That first thing that you're seeing there, I think that's images. I go to my icons. I'll go to my voice search icon now. Sorry, I want to check my search icon first. My search SVG. So let's give this one a class. A class of search icon. So it's big, no problem about that. I'm going to create another one again, still in that my middle section. So img, the next one is images, icons. So I'm looking at the voice search icon. So let's give this one a class of voice search icon. So the other ones that we have there, what's the other one that I have there? These other parts, I think that's the only two I have in the middle section. So what I would do now, I've given them their classes, the search icon and the voice search icon. Remember, this my other one, I gave it search bar. I gave this one search bar. Let me bring them out so that you'll be seeing the code very well. I gave this one was search bar. So let me just quickly remove this middle so that I will know that everything is there. So I'll go back to my style. My header.css. I'll go back to my style. Inside the header CSS environment, I want to style my search bar. After my search bar, I will style my search button. So what I was supposed to do is I was supposed to pass this item inside the buttons. This guy here, I was supposed to pass them inside the button. So permit me to create a button element. So this one, let me bring it down. So I'll drop this one inside this button. So it's inside the button now. It's not just an image, but it's inside the button element. Why this one, I also drop this one inside a button also. I'll pass this on inside a button too. So I have something like this. So this button, I'm going to give this button a class also. So this button, I'm going to give it a class of search icon. So let's give it a class of search icon. Search icon button, Abby, because the first one is search icon. Abby, I've not given them a class. Search icon what button. Have I okay? I gave this one a class, yeah. So this one should be voice search icon what button. So to separate them, voice search icon button. All right, I've given him my classes. So my site is looking somehow, but it's always like that when you are working on them, but they will start taking shape immediately, start doing their effect. So the first class I want to quickly call, I want to call my search bar. I believe you know this is my search bar here. This is my search bar. All right, this is my search bar here. Do I have the class here? The class is not here yet. I've not called the class at all. Hope I didn't call it inside my video.css. Alright, so this class here, I'm removing it here because it's not part of this place here. It's actually part of the header, so it's supposed to be here. And so it's supposed to be here. So the display of block, I'm going to remove it since it's now inside a flex. It's not needed again. So the first thing I'm going to give to my header here, to that my guide, to this my search bar, I will give display. I'll turn it to a flex of 1. My middle section ought to have a display of what? Flex. Please though, if you are confused, let me know because it's becoming complex. My middle section need to have a display of what? Flex. Alright. Why am I giving it a display of flex? The reason I'm giving it a display of flex, I want the items. You notice that the items were going on the other side. So I want the items to fall at this other side of it. So now I can remove the background color that I have here since I've started working on it. So the next thing I'm going to pass, since it's now a display of flex, this search bar here, I'll give it a flex of what? 1. What did I say flex of 1 does? It occupies the entire horizontal word space. So what you'll be seeing now is this. Look at it. You can see that this is my search bar. As long as that thing increases, it does what? It does increase also. Alright. As the browser increases, the search bar does what? Increases. Are you seeing it there? So that's because I gave it a flex of what? A flex of 1. Now if that is okay, I'm going to give the padding and the height of my search bar. I'm giving the height of my search bar to be 36 pixels, so it to be increased 36 pixels so that it will not be small. So now it's bigger than the way it is before. So the next thing, what I'm going to pass in there, I will give it a margin left of 10 pixels. A margin left of 10 pixels so that there will be a space at the left. Those items that will not be inside. I'll give it a margin left of 10 pixels. So there will be a tiny space at the other side, this part of it. So there's a margin, there's a space at this edge there. Now the next thing I'm going to pass in for that my middle section, I'm going to increase the font size of whatever I'm typing there. I'm going to give it a font size of 16 pixels. All those things that's this here now. I'm giving it a font size of 16 pixels. I also give it a border style, a border width, and a border style. A border width of 1 pixel so that the border will not be too thick on it. Then I'll give it a border style of solid so that the line around it should be what? Should be solid line, not so that I can change the border color. Solid. So now the line on that particular edge is solid, so I cannot call the border what? The border color. So that I will change the color to be something like gray, so that it will be grayish, not bold. So the kind of gray color that I want to have for my border color, I believe I've explained RGB, red, green, blue, which is our primary color. So the value here is the kind of value that you want your background to have. So for me to get a gray color, it's going to be 196. So you can see now that this particular border, this line around this particular search, in my middle section, sorry, not my search now, in my middle section, I'm supposed to be talking about my middle section, right? So my middle section is given to be a flex 1, a margin left and a margin right. Let's give it a max width of 500 pixels. Yeah, 500 pixels, so that it will not be too big. A max width of 500 watt pixel, because presently it's becoming too big. Then I gave it a display of flex. Then let's align all the items inside there to be at the center. Align items, let's make them be at the center. Now if that is okay, you see this my border and all of this in the align item center, yeah, that I have here. I'll cut it out. I'll go to my search bar. Let me place it on my search bar. So close it, close this. So this one I have to leave. Place it on my search bar so that everything will look. So you can see now that when I put it at my search bar, my environment is looking more like professional, but I'm not done with what I'm working on yet. So now I am going to give it a border radius, but before I do that border radius, let me work on this button side. So that button side, the first class that I have there, I have a class of search icon button, right? Search icon button. Remember, the class is in my HTML. I also have a class of what? Please remind me. A class of voice search icon button. Then I have other class there called, I think I have a class of search icon. Please, any confusion so far? A class of search icon. Then I have a class of
No.
voice. Thank you. Voice search, just classes and styling. Voice search icon. Okay, search icon and voice search words icon. Remember, one is button, the other one is the words, the other one is what is inside. So let me first of all talk to the search button. I call it search icon button, right? Search button. Let's first of all talk to the search icon button. The first thing, we have to set a height for it so that it will be big. Please understand, this is where I'm talking to. Let me bring my screen close. I'm talking to this side of it. I'm going to give it a height. Sorry, not bad. I'm going to give it a height of 40 pixels so that it will show itself. So it's 40 pixels taller. So I'm going to give it a width of 66 pixels so that it will be wider. A width of 66 pixels, so that you can see that that thing is very very wide. But again, my icon is so big inside. So what I will do for this my search icon, I'm going to give it a height of 25 pixels. You know, it says SVG, so I'm going to give it a height of 5 so that it will take what is inside 25 watt pixels. So it's not inside this place, okay, it's inside the button. All right, hope we are good. So it's not inside that particular word button. I'm gonna give my border style, because if you look at their home button right here, it's not looking like my home presently, so I have to do some styling to get their words, their effects. I have to do some styling to get their effects. So I'm going to call the border radius the background color of my button, background color. So I'll set the border color to be faded, so it's going to be white, but it's going to be milky white, RGB. The milky white is the value is 240 comma 240, just CSS styling 240. So the background color, it has the color inside is what is 240. But my border now, the button is still having a border around it. So for what I would do first, I will set my border width to be 1 pixel so that I can work on the border words style. 1 pixels. This border width is just to reduce the strength of the words. You can see that the strength of the line around it, the stroke around it has been what has been reduced. So I'll turn my border color to be solid, because I want to color the words, the border, the line, the stroke. Where is solid here? Because I want to color the word, the stroke. Now is what is solid. Since it's solid now, I cannot call the border word the border color. Cannot call the border word the border color. So the border color, I'm really using primary color RGB, just like what I have there, 192. Let me reduce a bit. 192 19 watts too. I have this there. You can see that now the body is no longer having that kind of a thick line around it. It's not faded out, kind of. If you look at their own original very, very well. I think he's looking at what I have, but I'm not done yet. Let me come into this voice search icon. Let's talk to that voice search icon button. So the first thing we need to do for this voice search icon button is to give it a height, just like the other one, a height of 40 watt pixels, a height of 40 pixels, so that it will be taller. The next thing is for us to give it I think we have to give it a width of 40 pixels, so that it will be wider. A width of 40 pixels, so that that button will also be what, be wider. You notice that this voice icon is behaving as if it's taking a structure. And if you look at the original button here, you can see that this particular button is not having a border, but my own presently now is having a border around it. So what I will do in that case, I'll call my border property. I'll set the value to be what, to be none. So presently now there is no border around it. So I will now check on the what, the color, the border color. Sorry. So yeah, the background color, is it background color now? Yeah, the background color, sorry, the background color, what's wrong with me now? The background color, I'll give it RGB also. Let's give it 245. It's also a milky white, 245. So that's what I have here, so you will not know. So if this concept is okay, my voice search icon, I also need to style it. I'll give it a height, despite the fact that it's taking a size because of what I have there, because of the previous one. I'll give it a height of 24 pixels. Then I'll also give it, because presently now it's not at the top, all right, for it to be placed at the top, we got to give it a margin, what, a margin top. So I'm going to give it a margin top. What's going on? I'm going to give it a margin top of of 4 pieces so that it will be properly what positioned. A margin top of 4 pieces. Now you notice that this their own, there is a round like shape kind of here, so I need to also get that for my own. So I'm going to call, for me to get that round like shape, that property is actually called border what border radius. That's what that property is called. So I'm going to go to the background, this guy here. Since I have a height of 24 pixels, border radius, I want to call my border radius, is that border radius? Border radius, if I give it 12 pixels, see what I'm going to have. You can see that it's not circular enough. Border radius of 24 pixels, let me see what I'm going to have also. It's not circular enough. Since I don't have value for height and width, make sure you give it 50 watt pixels. Let's see what 50 pixels will produce. Border radius of 50 pixels. Voice search icon. Oh, I was supposed to call voice search button. Sorry. Border radius of voice search word button. I have to talk to the button, not the icon. So you can see down there that the button is what is circular. The button is circular. So on the search icon button, I want to give it a margin right because this guy is too close to this guy. Search icon button, I want to give it a margin right. I want to give it a margin right of 10 pixels so that there will be a space between this one and the other one there. So there's a space between this guy and this guy, just like what we have in the original. Please question please. Shayin question, Promise question, Crespin question,
No.
Crespin,
No, sir.
Promise question.
No, sir.
All right, Fola, any question?
No
All right,
no
let's
question.
continue. I hope we are getting it because it's becoming complex kind of, but I will try my best to be breaking it down gradually. So this is what we now have presently. But if you look at their own website, it seems this is a button is going inside, is inside this text. So how do I achieve that? How do we achieve that? We understand that margin is space outside, while padding is space inside. But what if I want to have a negative movement? I want to move it inside. Alright, that's what we call a negative movement. The value that you're going to give for the margin, whatever margin left, if you want to have a negative movement, we have to be what? Negative. So let me explain that to you guys. Let me come back here. This my button is what I want to move. I want to move it inside the other guy. I'm going to call the margin what? The margin left. If I say minus 50, I want you to see something. Minus 50 pixels. Let me maximize this. Okay, I'm not seeing it inside yet. Margin left, voice search words, search icon word button. Alright, you can see that this guy is actually inside, but 50 pixels is small. Let me make it a bigger value. I want you guys to see the effects. Let's say 300 pixels. What do you notice? What do you notice? You can see that this button is inside. This button is inside. Alright, it moves this thing what inside. Okay, so that's for negative movement. But that's not what we want. We don't want people to know that it's moving inside. We give it something like what? 1 pixels. If I gave you something like 1 pesos, you can see that it's inside, but you will not know that what that button is actually what is actually inside. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm observing something. Okay. My this one is okay. My this one is okay. Now, having understand this now, having understand these concepts. Okay, I've gotten this concept. Let's now move to this one here, which is the what? Which is the right. Let's move to the right. Okay, let's move to the right. So we are going to first of all go into our HTML first. So on the right section, let's bring the image here. The images. I think the first one is sorry, images. I have to go to icons. The first thing that we are seeing there is called what? What's this button called? Create. I think that should be upload. Please, I want to be seen when you are coming in. That should be upload. It's there, oh, but it's big. So let's give this one a class. We are going to give it a class. Hope I'm fine. We're going to give it a class of upload icon. So inside here, I'll bring more inside. Call another images, icons. My channel. Is that icon for channel? Please, what's this icon called? What's on called? YouTube apps, Abby. I think I have YouTube apps inside here. So YouTube apps. So this one we're going to give it a class of YouTube apps icon. So the last one we are going to achieve here is the last one now. No, the image. Go to icons. This one is called notification. That's notification. So I'm going to call the notification. So I'm going to call notification icon. We'll give it a class. A class of notification hyphen words icon. Then the last one that I want to place here is the img images icons channel words picture. So this channel picture, we're going to give it a class of profile word because that's the profile picture of all of them. profile picture. So you can see everything is showing, but it's showing rugged. It's not showing well. So let's go to the class. The first thing I'm going to do is the write section class. This write section class, I'm going to turn the display to be flex. I'm going to turn the display to be what? Flex. Please, I will turn the display to be flex. So when it is flex, we are seeing everything by and large. Then I'm going to remove the color since I've started working on it. So it's now flex. This is what I'm having as a flex. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'll bring all the classes that I created there right now. I think the first class I should call here is upload icon, right? I'm going to call the upload icon. Z icon that I call it a B icon. Upload icon. Alright. Upload icon class. The next one is the who is going and coming, oh, is the YouTube apps icon. Is that what I call it here? YouTube apps icon, notification icon, profile picture. The YouTube apps icon. Then the next one I'm having here is notification. What icon. Then the last guy I should be having is the profile what? The profile picture. Profile picture. So we haven't done this now. So this one here, I'll reduce the height again. I'll give it a height of 24 pixels so that it will be small. So the next thing I'm going to do, this one I will give it a height. Basically I'll just be giving all of them a height of 25 pixels. So that will be of the same size. 25 pixels, 25 pixels. But this one I will increase it because it is actually the profile picture. So because 25 pixels is not looking well for it, I'll give it a height of 32 pixels. So it will not be somehow. Now we observe that everything is shrinking. So what I want to do for this one, I gave it a width of 200 pixels, which is fine. It's going on top. I will call the align items, since on this particular right, I'll call my align items. I'll put it at the words at the center so that everything will be position of the center. So to have an even space, the same space among all of them, I'll call my justify contents. I'll call space between. Alright, justify contents, I call the space words space between. Now the next thing I am going to have is now a flex. This guy here is looking somehow. Let me give it a border radius. So I want it to be circular. Border radius, if you have a height, okay, your border radius will be half, but since you are used to 50 pixels, let me use 50 pixels, that it will be round. So what you notice that this thing is a flex. The content are shrinking together. The content inside that container, they are shrinking together. So how to stop it from shrinking is to call a property called flex shrink. So it's actually a property that also go with flex. So call a property called the word flex shrink. I think it's here. So I'll set that flex shrink to be what? To be 0. So that it will not be shrinking. You can see that it's not shrinking again. The space is what I want to have. The space is actually what I want to get. So if you maximize your browser, you check your browser, in a bigger screen, you can see that the website is coming out kind of. The website is coming out towards kind of. Okay. By 8:30 I will end this class. What I will do, please, any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so you notice this is their header. This is their header here. It seems as there is something deep here. There's a line at the horizontal. This thing, this effect here, we are going to do it next class. This over effect, over effect, over effect, over effect, over effect. We are going to do that next class. And I noticed something again. When the icon is on the button, it changes to hand. And presently my own is not, our own is not doing like that. So I think we have to, that one is over effect. We'll get there next class, would achieve that. But let me get that head, that line on it there. So let's go back to the header. You know, my header name is what? Is navbar. All right. So for you to get that line is to call your border what? There's something called border bottom. Border bottom solid. That's what I'm looking for now. Border bottom. Let me just type it. Border bottom, set it to solid. Let me see what I'm going to have. All right, the border bottom is solid and is looking somehow, but I want it to take the effects of what they have. So I'm going to change the color of that particular header that we have there. So I'm going to call that particular border bottom, I'm going to call the border bottom width. The border bottom width. Sorry, before I do this one, I need to call border bottom width so that it will be small. Border bottom width. So I have to pass width here. So I'm giving it 1 pixel so that it will not be thick the way it is presently. So the border bottom width, I'm giving it what? That. So the next thing I'm going to get here again is the border bottom color. Sorry, this is supposed to be border bottom. Thank you. Border bottom. So then the color of the border bottom, border bottom, so it has to be color. You can see that I am talking to the border on the horizontal. You can see now the color is what? The color is actually white. It seems that nothing is showing there. Or sorry, let me use this color for my border bottom. Let's use a color of RGB. Let's use 228 or 228. Said? Yeah. Yeah, 228. I'm going to correct it. Thank you. 228. So now then the background color of my header here, okay, the background color of my header, I will turn it to what? To be white, so that let's see what we are having here. So now there is a distinction between this part and this part, but you may not observe it now because the color is not thick enough. Let me see if I give it some color that we show effects. Yep. So you can see that there is not a line, there's a space here between this one and this one, but that's not the color that we use, a gray line. So if you know you can't get the color, you can just be using your VS Code to adjust till you get what you actually want. So I'm going to leave it here right now. So for this header not to move with it, all right, there's something we call CSS position. Since I still have time, there's something called CSS position. We have four or 5 kind of CSS position: position fixed, position sticky, position absolute, position relative. Okay, position relative. So what I will do right now, we'll do position fixed, then you see what position fixed does, then we'll see ourselves next class. So it's all for you to call your position property, that you call the fixed value. Now when I call my position property and I call my fixed value, what do you observe? The header is actually fixed now, but it's now showing on top of the words of the item, and then again it's not scrolling to this particular edge. So what you will do to achieve that is to get your direction. So I'm going to call my left, I want it to go to my left side, so I'll give it a left of what, 0. Then I want it to spread to my right side, so I'll give it a right of what, a right of 0. So what do you observe? You can see the header now. The header spread to the word to the left and the word to the right. You can see it. All right, you can see it now. My image is going what, is going down. So what I will do next now is this. I want this guy to be on the top, so I'll set the top to be what, the top to also be what, 0, so I do not move from there. The top to be 0. When the top becomes 0, what do you observe? The picture and everything, they are moving words, they are moving at the down. This is actually how you get a sticky header. You can see it. So the same effect that we are having presently. So now if you notice something again, you notice that the picture now, the header is on top now, but the picture is inside. Right? The picture is what? The picture is inside the word, the header. So I'm going to bring the picture down. So we are going to go to our general.css. I'm going to open our general.css file, because that's actually going to affect everything. What I want to start right now, I want to start my body element. I'll call the element itself. For me to achieve that kind of effect is to call my padding. I'm going to put a padding from the top. So I'll call a padding. Padding means space inside, right? So inside the body element, space it. So I'm giving it 80 words pixels. When I give it 80 pixels, what do you observe? It's now what? Down. So I now have something like this. So let me give room for questions. Questions so far? Questions so far? Fola, question. Sharing, question. Tosin, question. Promise, Crispy.
No question.
No.
Okay, can we call it a day? Because if I continue to explain, the information will be too much. Please, the video is actually is complete. It didn't cut, so please go through the video and go through the source code. I also drop the source code on your WhatsApp platform right now. I'm not giving you guys any assignments. The assignment I'm giving you is just for you to go through the source code and go through the video. Is that okay?
So what if we should do the over?
If I should do what?
Yeah, what if we do the over of the assignment?
Of the words. Okay, for the assignment, right?
What if we do the over?
Alright, take the over as your assignment. Cresme has given you people work to do. Please, we are taking the over as assignments. When you do the over, when you show me next class, they will not do it together. Alright? Well, I will still do it with all of you, but use it as practice, so that you not be as if you are just doing nothing. Is that okay by us?
So, but we have to see which of them is going. So if I enter the okay, we have the link to the website already.
You have the words?
No problem. I still have the link to the
Uh,
YouTube website.
yes, I've given you the website already now.
Yes, no problem.
Okay. In the absence of no other question, we'll call it a day. Please expect the source code and the video on the WhatsApp platform. Thank you very much for your time.